Well, we're back in another lockdown and we're back in the kitchen. And this week we're going to do one of my family favourites. It's a Thai green curry with brown rice. And it's a recipe that I got after attending a demonstration in Camille restaurant, and it really is a delicious meal. It's very easy to whip up, very few ingredients, very little preparation, and you really will have this done in about half an hour and everybody will love it. So the ingredients we need are outlined as follows. So I have some chicken which I've already diced up, and if you allow one fillet maybe per person, and also I've got a chopping board for my chicken, and I have a separate one for the vegetables. Or if you've only got one chopping board, you need to wash it between chores, because you do not want the chicken to get onto anything else for the risk of salmonella food poisoning. Then here we have the ingredients which make up our sauce. We have about a dessert spoon of green curry paste, and I like to use this one Mayploy. I just like the flavour from it, it's very good. We have some fish sauce, a dessert spoon of that. That gives a beautiful salty flavour to the dish, and then to counteract that saltiness we're putting in about a dessert spoon of sugar. And then we have a tin of coconut milk, and that's all our sauce ingredients. And then we have a red and an orange pepper. I'm going to half the onion and dice it, and we're going to use half a chilli in this. And also we have 50 to 60 grams of brown rice. The first thing we'll do is put the rice on to cook, because it's brown rice and it takes about 25 to 30 minutes. So have your kettle ready boiled. You also will need a colander for draining the rice afterwards, and you also will need a wok or a deep pan. And I'm not adding any salt to the rice because there's enough salt flavour going to be in the Thai curry. So we leave that to simmer for about 25 to 30 minutes. So the first ingredient we'll prepare here is the onion. So we're just going to split that in half from the top to the bottom. And then we're going to take the top off. Going to take off an outer layer of skin. And you leave the root on the onion to hold it in place. Put those into our compost bin. And then to dice the onion, cut straight through the onion like that, following those little lines that are on it. Still leave the root intact, and then cut across. And you make small or large diced onion, and that's how you dice your onion. Next we'll move on to the peppers. So the preparation for the two peppers is going to be exactly the same, so we're using a half. So we need to remove this piece, which is the stalk. So we'll take that out, and then you need to remove some of this fleshy bit of the pepper. And just dispose of that and any seeds. And then remove those to another plate. And then we're just going to put this into slices for this particular dish. So you don't have to be very accurate or careful about how you cut this, but I suppose you do try and keep the pieces the same size so that they'd all have the same texture at the end. Otherwise you'll have large pieces that are quite chunky, and the smaller pieces will be soft, and it's nice to have the same texture for the same vegetables. And then prepare the red pepper in exactly the same way. Now we'll move on to the chilli. So to prepare the chilli, again, we're going to cut in half because we're using a half, so cut it from top to bottom. Then again, you take off the top, remove any seeds, and also remove any fleshy little bits on this. And don't leave any of the seeds in there because they're quite hot, so remove them. And then we're going to dice this chilli quite small. So cut it into little strips, and then cut it across into tiny little pieces. Now, when you're using chilies, you need to be very careful not to touch your eyes. If you have any sore cuts on your hands or anything, do not let the chili go near them, because it's going to hurt. And if you get chili in your eye, it's really, really going to burn and affect your cooking. Okay, so that's your chilli done. We're going to start making our sauce now. So the unusual thing about this curry is that we don't cook the chicken first. So you add in your curry paste into a nice hot pan, and the heat of the pan is going to allow the aromatics to be released from this beautiful sauce, and you're just going to get this beautiful fragrance off the pan. So I wish you could smell the fragrance that's coming off this at the moment. It's absolutely beautiful. It's really lovely. You'll know yourself that it's reached the right temperature. To that, we're going to add in some coconut milk. Now you'll notice this coconut milk is completely solid on the top, and that's because this particular coconut milk is quite high in fat, and the creamier and the more fat that's in the coconut milk, I think the richer this recipe. So that's what you're getting, is the fat goes solid when the coconut milk is at room temperature. And then with the heat of the pan, those will eventually go back into a liquid. You just continue to heat it gently until it turns into a lovely creamy liquid. Now we've got this to a lovely simmer. You might be able to see the little bubbles in it there, but it's not boiling vigorously. The other thing about this dish is that if you overheat the coconut, if you have this on too high a temperature, there's a tendency for the coconut milk to split, and you'll end up with a kind of a grainy texture, which is not ideal. So we're just going to put in the chicken here, and there's absolutely no skill involved in the next bit here. You just leave it to simmer and you stir it occasionally, and you need to give that a good simmer for 20 to 25 minutes. This has been cooking now for about 20 minutes on a low-ish heat, and you constantly stir it. So you then add in the onions, the peppers and the chilies, and then we're going to cook this for a further 5 or 6 minutes. And I suppose at this point, if you were going to have naan bread or something, you can start getting that ready. But there's nothing to do here now except just leave this to simmer for another 5 or 6 minutes, and then it should be ready to serve. The last ingredients to add then to this dish is your sugar and the fish sauce. And then you just mix those into the dish in general, and this is really where a lot of magic happens. The balance between the sugar and the saltiness of the fish sauce is really just divine. It's a real restaurant taste that you can make in your own home. So our Thai green curry is ready now, and also the rice is cooked. So all you have to do is drain the water from the rice in a colander, and that rice needs to be what we call al dente, that has got a bite, because you don't want it to overcook and you don't want it to be crunchy. So al dente is what we're looking for. So you're ready now to just serve up and feed all your hungry family. So serve it up then in portions, getting a mixture of vegetables and chicken. So there you have it, dinner served up in 30 minutes. So our bed of lovely brown rice, your sauce, chicken, vegetables, etc. We've garnished it with some chopped coriander. And then to serve as complementary foods with this, you could serve up some lovely naan bread and also some diced mango. That will balance out the hotness of the chilli, and it's a beautiful combination because it's introducing a different texture as well. So this is a really easy dish for any of you to make, and you should really try it, and you will be so delighted with how delicious it tastes. So good luck, enjoy, and happy cooking.